Ladies and gentlemen, finally I got the chance to speak to Maggie. So,
Margie.
Margie, like, let me pronounce it correctly, Margie, and we are here in the part of the Williamsburg, right?
Yeah, north side of Williamsburg.
Today is the first cold day out there, right? So we decided to do it a little bit on the street, so you will see some background folks, but Margie will explain the first topic that we're gonna address today is in no particular order would be a Halloween, which is coming, right?
Right.
So like today is what, 17th?
Yes, it's the 17th of October.
So we will probably post like maybe tomorrow, which is 18.
Right.
So let's guys figure out like what people can wear, not wear, cook for the Halloween. What's the best out of the top of your head would be the best dish for the Halloween?
I mean, I think that Halloween, it comes with a lot of dishes and they vary. I mean, because Halloween has, of course, a background of candy. When you think of Halloween, you think of sweets, you think of candy, you think of trick-or-treating. But then when it comes to gathering...
What about dieting? Like my wife is on diet. She wants to put me on diet, so candies are not so much.
Yeah, but
Do you want to have like kind of maybe scary food?
Yeah,
Halloween?
Yeah, but scary food would consist of a lot of proteins as well too. As much as you can have eggs, you can make eyeballs out of eggs.
Okay.
You can take eyeballs and olives and red peppers and make the insides of an egg and make the veins and everything. You could just, even with food coloring, that we have pens that we could even draw the features and the items of body parts, which is one thing that as chefs we do that. I've been known to dabble with food. I think that before this interview I was telling you that with meatloaf that I can make a human foot that's cut off and we could take like ground meat and form it into a foot, and then we'll wrap it in puff pastry, and then we'll rip it up and you could have flesh hanging down, and then and with any type of sauce like a tomato paste, where you brush it on and you have it oozing down because you want something that's thick so that it can have a consistency of simulating blood.
Okay, cool. Do you make any educational videos on how to do those things, or people have to bring you and see that for themselves, like when you do it?
Oh, I'm relentless. I'm totally relentless. I'm always teaching people. I make it a kind of a religion. I'm religious with it because I know that there are so many people that want to learn, even people that are new cooks, new marriages, newlyweds. You have young girls that are learning how to cook, or those women that are of age that do not know how to cook. They never had a chance because they're career women, or even men for that instance that don't want to rely on a woman and they want to do things on their own. Yes, so I teach many lessons regarding not only Halloween, although we are on that topic.
Right.
It varies on every type of dish or any event that would apply.
I went recently to event where it's mostly for the fathers of daughters who don't see their daughters quite often, and they have bad relationship with their daughters, so they kind of don't have a connection, and it's divorced couples, right? So the doctor that psychiatrist who supervise those cases suggests that those fathers will bring their daughters and cook together, and that would build a bond. It's something that they can do together with their daughters, so they learn kind of how to cook and be also interested in cooking, and that's builds a bond between the father and daughter. Is when you cook with someone, sometimes you need a partner, right? You can't cook just by yourself.
It's interesting that you should bring that up because the word networking, the major word in network is net, and net is to bring together. And with a father or a daughter or whatever the scenario could be. With cooking, there's a lot of trust that you have to put in. If you get one ingredient wrong, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Right. You can get sick, or it could be everything could be on fire. Even your ears could have steam coming out of. However, you have to rely on your partner, as I would my sous chef. But the area of bonding and repairing and
breaking the bread together
and merging spirits is something that
eat together.
Yeah, that's where the soul food derived. The word soul and soul food derived from that, because on Sundays they would a lot of poor people would come together and and cook together and create a soulful dinner so that their families can have something that they can that they could merge with, that they could bond with, and they could become one with. So that's where the soul food kind of word came from, or the name or the title. However, to find that as a form of therapeutic practice is something that I feel to be very, very, very admirable at this point as far as a topic, and it's something that I think that every mother, father, and child should practice, because when I was young, we had this class called home ec, and they took that off. They took that away. The schools used to offer home ec classes where children would learn how to bake and cook and everything. Now they don't do that because of religious practices. Who can have pork? Who can have pork? Who can't? What are the hygienes? If someone can touch things or they can't, it's so much of a stigma that they've taken love out of the therapy and the therapy out of cooking.
Okay, maybe schools will reconsider. Maybe there are, dishes where that doesn't require pork, or like a particular something that everybody will agree that those ingredients, kosher for everybody, and maybe schools will reconsider that. Let me take you to the next topic that we agreed to discuss is. I do sometimes fashion shows.
Yes.
And in those fashion shows, one of the main ingredients to have a great fashion show is not only liquors that people kind of drunk a bit, but also have good food, and they are not hungry. Usually models are quite hungry during fashion show. They don't drink, they don't eat, they are on a diet. What's the best food for the fashion show?
Okay.
Something that will fit people, but so they don't feel it's unhealthy, or at the same time gives them energy to. Because runway could be quite exhausting. You come there early in the morning for makeup and hair, and you stay all day, and it's like a whole fashion week. So it's not just one day; it's like 7 days of 8 days of like really, really, talking to a number of people.
Well, okay, let's touch the models. Let's go on the models first. You see, the biggest concerns that a model would have is fatty foods or anything that would be of high calorie. However, the biggest thing that they would avoid would be lettuce and tomatoes and stuff like that. Even though it seems like it's the right thing to eat, that contains a lot of water. So models don't want water retention. They don't want to feel bloated when they're in clothing. They want to make sure that they're comfortable, they're walking, they don't feel heavy. So for catering, any dishes such as anything that would apply to a model, because I also don't want to just answer your question in fractions, but. But if I were to start with the models, I would say that for them it would be light appetizers, whether it be lettuce and salads are not good for models. They won't take that, and they're starving too. However, club sandwiches, small little club sandwiches, whether it be proteins, fish, chicken, anything that's rolled up, any pasta that you can stuff with any cheeses that it could be handheld.
I had a few anecdotal situations this fashion week. First of all, we saw a couple of models throw up on the stage on the runway. They were so nervous, so they eat right before the fashion show, and when they reached the photographer pit and the riser, they to the photographers. Then we had a couple of cases, because usually music is kind of loud during fashion show. And we had a case when DJ had malfunctioning his station. So in the middle of fashion show, it just went blank and no sound. And the model was so nervous that she farted on the runway in the middle, like with all these people standing there. So I don't think that models want to eat like a food that has a lot of beans and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Well,
so those kind of things. And like another funny anecdotal story that I saw during fashion show recently was the girls kind of getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
So like sometimes it's cold in especially like February fashion week.
Yes.
Right in the place. So you see a girl in a swimwear, like walking the runway, and her body is practically covered with goosebumps. So if you drink like a warmer soup or like something like that makes you warm, you kind of reduce that feel, unless you want to like drink a little bit of vodka and warm that way, but then you can fall from the hills. So also a little on the funny note, but I think it's legitimate concerns. Girls don't. It's a lot of people, so they don't want to, have a stomach problem.
You see, okay. You see, the thing is that what comes with food is anxiety, and anxiety leads to eating, and models that have to present themselves on a runway they're going to be anxious, which leads them to eat, and then also leads them to be more nervous, and then wonder how they feel if they're bloated, and then they resort to remedies to rid themselves of those things. However, whatever incidents that are natural that happen to them on the runway, those are gassy foods, and those are foods that are high in acids. Okay. However, with scenarios like models that are nervous because it's funny. I'm sorry. and
funny,
that they're very flatulent and they're if not bulimic, or they're having issues, or they just have the case of the nerves.
They should not eat right before
they should not eat. They should not eat. I have cooked for models in the past, and what I do is that I make sure that I give them anything with bread, because bread will absorb the acid in their stomach, and the stomach will be settled, because we all have stomach acid, and when that rumbles, it rises. And so when you eat bread, it'll bring it down. Anyone that has heartburn or has any acid reflux, you have to eat bread so it can absorb it. So that's what I would do for a model, especially if she doesn't eat much. It would fill her.
But what would be, let's get back to the beginning of the question. What would be the best food to service? Because people that come to a fashion show, usually it's the buyers who buy the clothes, right? And you want them to buy the clothes. So we're talking about millions of dollars at stake. So you're sitting on the first row on the runway. You see 2-3 people who buy for Macy's, for Bloomingdale's, for huge corporations. And with one decision, they make a decision. $1 billion goes to this designer or this designer. Who gets the order, right? It's maybe like 10 designers working that day, and they're gonna choose who is getting it. The people who service good food for those people, if they enjoy the food for those VIP guests, they might be in a better mood, and they will have more check marks. So let's say instead of picking one designer, they will pick 3 designers. It's like 3 times more revenue for the people behind the show.
Right.
So a great food can substantially influence the decision process on the how successful is the fashion show. Because if everybody is not hungry and kind of enjoy their time and eat well, they kind of enjoy the show. So they like the clothes, they like what they see. If you're hungry, even if you have the most beautiful clothes and the most beautiful models, and all you can think of that slice of pizza, you're not gonna place an order. You're not gonna make that big purchase.
Okay, yes. However, although you introduced me as Margie, I'm Margie from Margie's Kitchen, and I've been a chef for over 15 years, and I have worked in many of those scenarios. I specialize in many of those events, and anything that would consist of a fashion show or runways or any event that's big that of course relates to purchasing, selling, revenue. I mean, it's as we know as business people, it would really depend on what is offered and what people are interested in. Now, relating to food, I think you were saying, I'm sorry, I think I lost the question.
What do we feed those VIP important people?
Oh, okay, well.
So those like buyers, they came to the show, right?
Yes.
The most, you would get, let's say, 1,000 people coming to see a show, but only 2-3 people really matters at the show. Those who are placing orders for huge purchase order from designers. Yeah. You put them on the first row, the best seat, and you hope that they will purchase from those designers. Yeah, well, you do anything possible to make their stay pleasant, right?
Right.
If they enjoy the show and if they place orders, the show is a success. You might have like great pictures, you might have great videos, you might have great like models and everything fun, but if there is no follow up and there is no orders after that, designers are not happy, they're not making money, and basically the whole show is.
Yes.
So it's very important to find the right food. I don't know, caviar or like impress them with something,
no.
so they enjoy. They have a good time.
You see, the thing is that people of money are used to the food that comes with money. And sometimes when you change that a little bit,
I don't think the people of money coming making decisions. Those are young kids. They have a job. They're getting maybe $100,000-$200,000 salary, but they work for Macy's. They work for Nordstrom. They work for big corporations.
Yeah, but
they're making these big decisions.
But
other people money.
What I mean by that, in retrospect, with wealthy people that are used to wealthy dishes.
Right.
When we're discussing individuals that are on their way to be decision makers, but they could be in the bracket of being a wealthy person.
Yes, possibly. Yeah,
we have to teach them. We have to have an intermediary way of doing things where we can give them the importance with the menu that we're going to serve them. Like in Margie's Kitchen, we will serve them whether it be Thai fusion with Peruvian food, where we can go into Central America and we can go to other fusions. I have fused Japanese with Puerto Rican food. I am a criollo chef where I specialize in Latin food, but I do cook all types of different food. And with my service, it is something that I have learned with my experience as a chef, that when you have fashion shows like that and you have important people, it doesn't matter what the revenue is, although we know that it comes in a certain, like you have VIP. We have VIP people, and we have to serve them, and we have to take care of them, and we have to respect them. But what comes with that respect is to give them the right choices. And even if it was, and I kid you not, Alex, if it was, or Mr. Guman, even if it was little sliders, even little sliders, burgers, small burgers, and they're fancy burgers, because I have made burgers that have cost $50 just a burger.
Wow.
So if you have a small little slider that's gourmet, and you can just pop them, and you can give an important person a platter with comfort food, whether it be macaroni and cheese balls that are made of macaroni and cheese, and you can give them chicken cordon bleu, that they're small and they're handheld and they can eat them. Now we're talking about regular people that, as much as you are you're part of many events, and you're part of the world, and you're part of a whole universe full of food and different options. At the end of the day, they want to eat. And they want to eat real food. That's why they're comfortable in their mom's house. They were comfortable with their house. But in events like this, what I suggest and what I would recommend is to give them a variety of very comfort food at handheld size, appetizer size, but nothing that would mimic an appetizer. It would be an entree, but mini.
How do you feel about idea like this? For example, when we have a next, let's say, big fashion show, and I know, let's say, a couple of important people coming to the show, what we can do, we can call them up before we know who's coming and why they're coming, right?
Right.
And we can kind of, in between, ask what kind of food they like, what kind of things they would be interesting to try. And when they come in, like a celebrity chef like you would cook specifically a dish for each person, that they would not know that it's coming, but they sit down to see a show and they got a little plate with their favorite food. Like, that's made absolutely to the best abilities that it's possible to make that food. And they will try it, and the taste is hopefully will be great, and they can place orders. That something like that little touch can significantly change the outcome of the collection that servicing. I think designers might like that idea, because let's say you're showing the collection, and you show the collection you don't need to feed 1,000 people or everybody. You feed those few decision makers who make a decision whether they purchase your collection or not.
Right.
And you give them customized, like, for each person, a plate with their favorite food, with their, like, something that they might really enjoy. And they can translate that love and for taste for food to their taste and love for the clothing that they have. Or maybe it's in the same colors and some kind of resemblance. So what they see on the plate could be kind of a part of the collection if it's not the same colors or textures. Something might have a connection.
Well, what comes with being a chef is the fact that we have to ask questions, especially what are allergies. allergies are something that if we're going to requisitions or anything that we're going to speak to our clients or any future clients, we would have to ask them what their allergies are, what they would be interested in, because sometimes I have come across people that love seafood, and they want like ceviche, and they want beautiful cups of ceviche, and we can create little platters or little cups depending on what they want and what the occasion is. If it's a fashion show, then they're gonna get little champagne glasses of ceviche, and they're gonna have croutons with it. They're gonna have beautiful things and different colors. However, the situation with that is that you will have. You could never determine what's the right thing until you see that when you customize a dish based on what they've asked, that when they see the other person that they're with, they see their dish, everybody is now swapping their dishes, and then you have different varieties of platters with different. I have Alex's muffin, so to speak, next to my lobster. Because he just saw my muffin, he was in love with my muffin, and they'll swap, and that's something you have to customize, but you also have to integrate what you've customized for Alex, for Margie, for Richard, for Maria, for whomever. Just try to be in the same area. Of course, even if you style it differently, but also if it's a fashion show, make it funky, make it beautiful, and make it stand out. Because I think that a person with style wants to eat in style, and they want everything to just integrate together.
Cool. Let me take you to our next question. Probably you guys know that I go hunting quite often. Let's see Margie go in a shot. Okay, so the hunting consists of not only sitting in the woods, but sometimes occasionally killing an animal, and not just killing but eating it. We don't hunt for just fun of it. It's usually like we want to eat that venison, we want to eat that duck, we want to eat that pheasant or whatever is at this particular hunt. So the season is about to start. I'm getting ready with my rifles. I already cleaned it up, and I'm getting ready for the season for that fall. And I wondered if you have an idea what would be a good recipe for a hunter like myself, with the game meat, and maybe what kind of your favorite game meat cooking style.
Okay, well, venison is something that I love, because venison is something that you can actually work with that. You could fry it, you could bake it, you could stew it, you can do a lot of things with that. However, stewing is something that I recommend, because when you go hunting, you have a lot of game there. And whether you disperse it, you get rid of it, or you share it, it's going to be a lot. So what I recommend is stews. I mean, I know how many stews can you have with an expensive
you bring your party.
Yeah, you can. However, these are things that baking and stewing are two things that I highly recommend for that, because when you have big pots of stew and you have, let's really think. Okay, I'm going to think Caribbean. Okay. So, if I have venison. Okay, let's say if I have a moose. Okay. And I have a lot of that protein in front of me. I think of a huge pot of rice, a lot of salads of different kinds, whether it be even different varieties of beans that you can offer. However, that's me. And when you have a huge pot with potatoes and vegetables and a broth stewing there with all that meat, I mean, of course you want to give it respect, because it's a rare protein, isn't it? Yes. But it's something that will go a long way. And what comes with the stew is that since it reduces down and it shrinks, you are able to get rid of the waste of it just sitting there. The waste of time that protein. I mean, if it's frozen or if it's aged in salt, it will be fine. However, when it comes down to hunters, you need room. If you like to hunt, you need room.
Yes.
And then the room is what also causes the problem. So when you want to get rid of it, you have to use a process that will reduce it, which is to stew it. Now, baking it is something that you don't have to care for it. You don't have to supervise it. You could put it in huge platters and season it really well, and you can marinate it days before, and then just put it in the oven and slow roast it for over 12 hours. But slowly, where you can have its own broth, just bleed out, and just I'm sorry, getting hungry. You can have it bleed out, and then that same broth, you could transfer that into some rice. You could take that broth. I can make your soup with it. You could take that broth and you could thicken it, and you could make a beautiful gravy and a. I mean, just you could just dress this. You could play with this food, you know. But hunted game, which is very expensive, and it's very, very delicate meat. Delicate in the sense that you have to respect it, you know?
Guys, if you took you a while to get that deer, you might want to bring a chef like Margie to maybe cook it for you, so your guests will come and they will really enjoy it. You not wasted that precious.
Well, at Margie's Kitchen, we're going to respect our customers and their effort and the time they put into it, because if I can discuss the first key point, which was the room, then I have experience, because I know that that's the first thing that they say. You know, I want to keep hunting because this limits how much I can hunt, because where am I going to put the meat that I bring back, you know? However, that is something, like I said, if I was there, I see a freezer full of venison or moose or giraffe, excuse me, you know? I would just say, give it to me, and we're going to break it down, we're going to cut it down, we're going to cut some potatoes, some carrots, we're going to make a big stew, and come on, invite the village. You know, let's invite the village. If it's a warm day, we go outside, we create a picnic, and everybody will have a bowl, because in Indian countries you see a lot of children that they sit on the ground. I and my neighbors, I would eat with them, you know, from Pakistan, and I would just sit down and eat with my fingers, as culturally devised as it is, and it's nothing but stews and rice, and it goes a long way. It really goes a long way. So when it comes down to things that you need to reduce, stewing and baking is the thing, because if you had to fry it, what you do is that you take away the integrity of that meat. Because what you're doing is that you're kind of scorching and burning away what is beautiful in that protein.
You can't buy it in a store. It's a different smell. It's a different taste.
Yeah. You want it. If I was boiling you, if I was stewing you, I would want all the essence of Alex in my pot.
Wow.
You understand?
So we're not going to go cannibalistic.
Okay, sorry. No, we're not cannibalistic at all.
Let's look at the one more topic before we end the today kind of coverage. You're a celebrity chef.
Yes, I am.
And a lot of people want to be you and do what you do. And if you have advice like how to become a celebrity chef, what it entails, like you need to go to a particular school, you need to have particular connections, you need to have a particular name, like what do you do, like how become you? Like what if, like, I know quite a few people who like to cook, but it's one thing to cook in just a restaurant or for yourself or your family, and a different thing is to cook for celebrity folks. Okay,
now celebrities, I want to touch the public. That is something that it's really interesting, because every woman, especially with the fan base that Margie's Kitchen has, they'll ask me those questions, and they'll say, what can I do? How can I get the attention you have? How can I attract a celebrity? It's not about attracting the celebrity. It's about feeding it into the universe that you can do something and perfect it. Now, what I mean by that is that everyone is me. All they need to do is just find it. Now, I don't want to get poetic about that, because if they're not,
it's poetry.
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, if they're not in front of a celebrity and I'm there every day with a celebrity, they're like, okay, yeah, you could say that again, but I'm going to be in my kitchen tomorrow and you're going to be with a celebrity. So tell me how you do it, Chef Margie. However, how did Chef Margie do it? I was in a flea market cooking food, and I took pride into the food that I cooked. And I made sure that I did it correctly. While I had regular people, I was a regular person that were probably messing up my stand and messing with my food because I was competing with just two or three more dishes. I continued to respect the person that was doing that to me, and I continued to respect my craft. And what happened? A producer walked in, And I thought she wasn't anyone, just a person. And she asked me to sell her 7 different empanadas, and I did. And she bit all of them, and I thought she was crazy, but because she wanted to eat all of them. But she sampled it, and then she said, would you like a contract? And can you be here at 10 o'clock? I was there by 8. So,
wow.
It's something that, and then every time that I met somebody, I would take pictures with celebrities and not even know they were celebrities until a celebrity would say, oh, do you know you took a picture with that person? However, how can you be me? How can the person become me? Becoming me is to know that you are going to perfect your craft, that you're going to do it, and that if you know that there is something, an opportunity or a person that can offer that opportunity, don't be afraid. Approach it. Approach Mr. Guzman and say, you know what, I follow you, I like your production, I love your work, and it's an honor for you to interview me. Because if I've been interviewed by NBC or Google, it's one of the biggest pleasures to be here with you, because you're maybe one of the celebrities that I will add to our portfolio, you know? So what I mean by that is that the respect that you give everyone and everything you do is what you build together. So a lot of people just want to be rich. A lot of people just want to have a celebrity. But you know what? Maybe my name is bigger than my pockets. But wherever I go, everyone respects me for my craft, for what I do and how I do it, and the respect that I give, the privacy I give to everyone. And they come back to me. Yes.
They try the food, they enjoy the taste, and they want to have it.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do, because everybody can be wrong.
If you really want to enjoy the party, you need to have Margie there.
Yes. I do, of course, I'm going to want to promote myself, but I'm also going to say that I can say anything on camera. It's only a matter of them just giving me a chance and allowing me to show them, because I have young girls that follow me on Facebook, a lot of young girls that follow me on IG. We're talking about 6 and 7 year olds, where I sign my t-shirts and I send it to them, and I send them my aprons, the actual apron that I put ketchup on, and I say, I was cooking with this yesterday, and I send it to them, you know?
Wow.
And I am from Brooklyn, New York. And when I have a celebrity telling me, oh, I am this and I'm that, I just tell them, I'm this with a bag of flour. A bag of flour, that's it. And it took a bag of flour, it took a lot of burns, it took a lot of effort just to say, here, Mr. Guzman, here's a plate of food, and don't worry, you don't have to pay, you know?
A lot of people, at least in the fashion world that I'm part of in some way, kind of start as not known. A lot of models come off the boat, brand new, not in the fashion industry, and I take their picture, look at maybe their first photo shoot and their first fashion show, and sometimes they're pretty, and sometimes they're smart, and they meet someone really wealthy and famous and popular, and they become really, really important, and they become their own celebrity in their own way. So a lot of people who are not yet celebrities, but they eat the food, and while they are not there at that point, and they remember the taste, and they remember what they feel that moment. When they become celebrities, they want to. Yes, I remember when I was young, when I was nobody. I tried Margie's food, and that was the best food I had, and that's my memory from my youth. And they can bring you with them when they become somebody. No, time flies fast. You use 15 years you cook, so after a while it can really can probably all these people that eat your food, some of them become celebrities, so you might naturally getting more and more following that way. Can you tell the audience maybe what is your Instagram, how they can look you up, what's your social media?
Sure. My Instagram is Margie's Kitchen 1, and I have my portfolio there. It starts from humble beginnings to where I am today at award shows, and where I sit before you in my honor. Thank you for your interview. I wanna say that as you were saying, as far as celebrities, and where they will become overnight. That's what you were trying to say, and where their taste and food and their preferences, if it's Margie's Kitchen their preference, or it could be anyone else. I just want to say that we're diverse for everybody, whether you're wealthy, whether you're a celebrity, whether you're a public person, and whether you're just a person next door in the neighbors. But yes, I do cater to celebrities, and I do specialize with celebrity events, and I do specialize highly in big events, and I am sought out because of those things. But the one thing that comes with my service is that everyone is treated like a celebrity, and celebrities themselves, believe it or not, as famous as they are, and as much as they seek out my service because they know that we're very professional, they just want on the other side of that spectrum, they want to be just normal people and they don't want to be wealthy. So what we do is that we treat them just like regular people. You put one pan leg at a time, and then the regular people, they're the big deals for us. We put on the spotlights and we let them know who they are. You know.
I have like last closing question for you that I didn't kind of I'll put you a little bit in the spot for that one because we didn't discuss that one initially. I often when I cook I use perfumes.
Okay.
So I spray the food with like different smells, so to get it like a little bit more flavors. Is that something that other cooks like you do, or it's only like specific to me? Because
no. I mean, it depends on what you mean, but I believe that everything that you're recommending is edible. So that's what you mean, right?
Perfume? No, like
lavender.
Lavender, maybe a little bit of oil, like a variety of smells.
Oh, yes.
So I add, so it's not in the part of the dish, but even if it's, let's say, a female perfume, and I service a guy
I see what you're saying.
And I will spray the female perfume on the dish, on the plate, so it smells like a girl.
So what you're doing,
or let's say I'm serving the girl with a plate, I would spray maybe men's perfume, so it smells like more masculine. It comes with the plate.
Well, as far as fragrant elements, that's fine. That's fine because I understand now. I've done this, where I have had a service bowl, and then we have a small little soup bowl, and underneath it we have a pool of fragrances, and we even have potpourri. Beautiful. We have roses. I have a dish that's called Amor Latino, right? And it's Latin love, right? And it's sirloin steak. It is shrimp. It is different empanadas of different fillings that goes around. It makes a bouquet, and then you have shrimp, and then you have steak inside, and then you build it all the way up, and then we cut a plum into a flower. Wow. Right? But then we put roses, real roses around it. Really beautiful. The rose petals, and we put it all around. I'll forward you a picture. It's beautiful. And we serve that like that. And then sometimes we put
started doing this because when I saw usually a plate brought by a beautiful girl who smells nice, it kind of leaves the essence of the who brought it to you. So I thought, maybe if I don't have that beautiful girl, at least I'll use the same kind of perfume with the food, so it keeps kind of the same.
You're keeping the association.
Yes.
You're keeping the association,
Right.
and what reminds you of what was or what is. You know,
guys, if you want to tune in and hear more a little bit from Margie Kitchen, maybe we'll do another one of those meetings and interviews and ask your questions. Hopefully, Margie will agree to answer your questions. Thank you.
Great. Bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Cut.